and welcome to the news for today, September 8th. This news is brought to you by the Strategic Communications Class B at DIS, the Danish Institute for Study Abroad. My name is Sarah Baum, and I'm joined today by Hattie Hoskins on weather.
Just how bad is the flooding in Pakistan and India? Stay tuned to hear more.
Also, we have Eric Shalick on sports.
Keep watching to hear about the results of the U.S. Open. Back to you, Sarah.
10 days before the September 18th vote to decide whether Scotland will split from the United Kingdom, the sterling fell to a 10-month low. British shares and government bonds also showed considerable instability. These developments came after the results of a recent poll that revealed 51% support for the independence campaign. Initially considered an unlikely result, this split would leave the pound vulnerable due to the potential for a subsequent 12 to 8-month period of uncertainty for Scotland directly afterwards. Britain's opposition Labour Party has urged Scots to vote against the split, citing the likelihood that Prime Minister David Cameron's right-leaning party will lose the upcoming British general election. Ed Miliband, leader of the Labour Party, has said, quote, "Electing a Labour government is the way to change Scotland. The choice for social justice is no, not yes," end quote. Upcoming developments will determine whether Scots will put faith in the Labour Party or choose to break from British government in support of the interests of Scottish voters to become an independent nation. CVS, the second largest American pharmacy chain, announced that Monday that they are officially stopping the sales of tobacco products effective October 1st. CEO Larry Merlot stated this would cost the company about $2 billion in sales, which is the equivalent of about 3% of revenue. He also believes even with the initial loss, the change will generate more revenue in the future. This decision to end tobacco sales is coming a month earlier than anticipated when first announced back in February. CVS is the first drugstore chain and the second national company to cut tobacco sales, preceded only by Target. Other rivals such as Walgreens and Walmart have yet to follow suit. In a separate decision, the company is also tweaking its corporate name from CVS Caremark to CVS Health. The name change will not be apparent in the signs on the roughly 7,700 stores across America, so customers should not notice any visible changes. Company representatives have said that this new name will better accompany the desired image of the pharmacy, and that tobacco products do not go along with this image. Chief Medical Officer at CVS, Dr. Troyan Brennan, explained the reasoning behind the changes within the brand. Quote, "The sales of tobacco in retail pharmacy conflict with the purpose of the healthcare services delivered here," end quote. Now over to Hattie with the localized weather and the recent flooding in India and Pakistan.
Thanks, Sarah. Though school is back in session, summer weather isn't leaving anytime soon. Today in Nashville, you'll see we have some cloud cover shading us from today's high of 86 degrees, but temperatures will soon rise up to about 92 degrees on Tuesday and Wednesday with lows around 70. Thankfully, some thunderstorms could cool us off on Wednesday with a 90% chance of rainstorms, which should bring cooler temperature in the high 70s for Thursday and Friday. Humidity rates are still extremely high in the upper 80%, causing summer mugginess to continue into September. That's our weekly weather forecast in Nashville. Let's all hope for some autumn temperatures to arrive soon. Meanwhile, in international weather, severe storms have continued for the past 5 days in India and Pakistan, killing over 300 people and causing many to flee to the streets. This is the worst flood to hit the area in 5 decades, causing up to 12 feet of water in Kashmir's villages. With this as the peak of its monsoon season, 120 people have been killed in India and another 160 in Pakistan, prompting the government to declare areas in the state of national emergency. Rescue attempts have been made by both countries' helicopters and boats as tens of thousands of people fight to survive their submerged homes. Hospitals are crowding their top floors as the ground floors have been destroyed, and people are waiting in hope on their roofs and balconies as rescue boats continue to attempt to take people to safety on higher ground. Though the rain began to weaken on Sunday, the overflow of the rivers, such as the Helum River, are causing dangerous rapids, making it extremely difficult to rescue by boat. Pakistan's armed forces and civilian rescuers have conducted a massive operation to get people to safety. Ahmad Kamal, spokesman for Pakistan's National Disaster Management Authority, said 95 relief camps have been set up for those displaced by the flood. That's all for now on our national weather update. Back to you, Sarah.
In UNSA news, we sent Paige and Hope to ask the local citizens about their preferred method of transportation.
Copenhagen is known as the biking capital of the world, but what do people think about biking in Western Denmark? In 1999, Odense developed an initiative to improve the roads for bikers in the city. Like in Copenhagen, most people now ride their bike to work or school.
We interviewed 4 natives of Denmark, all who use bikes as a regular mode of transportation, even in the cold Danish winters. One resident of Odense noticed some advantages of cycling. The convenience of not depending on a schedule of public transportation and avoiding the high cost of owning a car. The car tax in Denmark is 180%, which was developed to discourage Danes from driving everywhere. Compared to Odense, some people feel that the bike lanes in Copenhagen are wider and safer, while others are not used to the car and cycling traffic there. Interesting. Perhaps I will want to invest in a new bike. In entertainment news, the British royal family is growing by one. Earlier this morning, Kate Middleton, Duchess of Cambridge, happily announced that her husband, Prince William, and she are pregnant with their second child. British Prime Minister David Cameron echoed the feelings of many British citizens when he commented that he was, quote, delighted by the happy news that they're expecting another baby, end quote. Currently, Kate is being treated at Kensington Palace for extreme morning sickness. Her condition is similar to her first pregnancy when she was hospitalized for hyperemesis gravidarum. She will therefore require extra hydration, medication, and nutrients during the pregnancy, but no severe problems are expected. The new baby will become fourth in line for the monarchy, and he will push Prince Harry to the fifth in line. The art community in Copenhagen recently wrapped up a week-long event. Over to Ellie to hear more.
Copenhagen Art Week 2014 wrapped up yesterday after running from August 29th to past Saturday, September 7th. I'm joined here today by Shannon McCrocklin, art aficionado and many-time Art Week veteran. Can you tell us a little bit more about the event?
Of course. Well, this year's Art Week was 10 days of artistic immersion. There was an overwhelming amount of participation within the Copenhagen community. Actually, 23 museums, 15 galleries, and 3 art fairs volunteered their spaces and efforts to create a visually stimulating festival for art lovers.
That's wonderful. I hear there was a great theme this year. Can you tell me more?
Yes, I was actually really excited about this year's theme. Art Week this year was titled The Making. All participating artists presented pieces that reflected the different steps in the artistic process, which encompasses everything from inspiration to the final product.
Of all the exhibits, did one particularly stand out to you?
I was particularly impressed by one interactive exhibit that was inspired by our technological age. Participants were encouraged to arrange square tiles on a lit background. Each tile was meant to represent a single pixel on a computer screen. The resulting patterns reflected the ideas of the art appreciators, and they were each very unique.
Thank you, Shannon. If you missed Art Week, make sure to check it out next year. Over to you, Eric, with sports news.
Thanks, Ellie. What's hot in sports this week is the U.S. Open. Serena Williams looks to be back on track despite turning 33 at the end of the month and playing poorly in this year's previous majors. Yesterday afternoon in Flushing Meadows, New York, Williams dominated Caroline Wozniacki of Denmark 6-3, 6-3 in straight sets to win her 6th U.S. Open, her 3rd in a row, and her 18th Grand Slam title. Williams won all of her matches in the tournament in the decisive 2 sets, despite competing with each other on the court. Wozniacki and Williams have become great friends off the court. Even directly after the match, Wozniacki was in high spirits, remarking that Williams deserved to win because she played better and that she owes her drinks later. After the match, the two were able to put their title bout behind them and have a night out together in New York City to celebrate their accomplishments. Back to you, Sarah.
Thanks, Eric. That concludes our show for today. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.